This is a fast evolving public health event, and the science and the epidemiology is an evolving issue.
Couldn't even get a handle on it back then because it was still evolving, still happening. That was Governor Brad Little standing in front of the media in his office to announce Idaho has officially entered its pandemic period. That was 5 years ago today. At the time, we had no idea, as you could tell, how much of an impact the novel coronavirus would have on our everyday lives. Remember wiping down your groceries? Remember working from home for those that still had a job? Remember empty shelves, first toilet paper, then horse dewormer? Remember those days? Well, 5 years ago, we were all living under a cloud of uncertainty. And at first, it seemed like we all now had a common enemy. And for about a minute, it wasn't each other. The world kept spinning, the seasons kept changing, and we had to change right along with them.
Well, good afternoon. I assume most of you know why we're here.
By that afternoon, we knew the gem state was due.
And just this afternoon, the department was notified by our Bureau of Laboratories that we have our first positive case of novel coronavirus in a female over the age of 50 in the southwestern part of the state.
At that point, there were more than 1,600 confirmed coronavirus cases across the country and 41 deaths. Governor Brad Little immediately declared a statewide emergency to slow the spread. But that wasn't enough. And 12 days later, Governor Little took Idaho to the next level.
Following the guidance of our public health experts, today I will be issuing a statewide stay-home order for all of Idaho. The statewide stay-home order is in effect immediately and will remain in effect for 21 days.
It would actually last 31 days, an illustration of how nothing was going to go as planned. That day, Governor Little would also call on non-essential businesses to close for the same amount of time. But essential might mean different things to different people. But what about places like pawn shops?
They were talking about that last night, and I'm not sure. I know hardware stores are open. So.
Right, because you need to fix stuff. Liquor stores you kind of touched on, and tobacco stores, what about them?
I don't know about tobacco stores.
Golf courses, are they essential?
The outdoor part, but the indoor part would not be, I think.
Somebody who is buying a house and is moving, are movers essential?
I don't know.
Okay. House cleaners?
I don't think so.
Okay. That conversation would end up being a microcosm of the pandemic in Idaho. We were going to have to figure it out as we go. It just so happened COVID blooming in Idaho coincided with spring, what's supposed to be a symbol of new beginnings. That first day of spring 2020, the city of Boise woke up in a new normal. A new beginning, for sure, of living with the coronavirus. By noon, on a Friday, the downtown hustle and bustle left to calm and, well, quiet. Fewer cars, but more than a few open parking spaces. And they seem to stay that way. The sidewalk seating, usually stocked with diners and drinkers, stacked and shunned for the foreseeable future. As for the sidewalks themselves, typically permeating with packs of people and the cascading cacophony of casual conversation, left mostly empty and eerily muted. The societal shock may be new, but it likely won't remain the normal, because spring is also the symbol of hope. So as we push outside our comfort zones and figure out new ways to connect, a newer version of our community, maybe this state of social distancing won't become personally devastating. A new beginning to reconsider who we are and what we value. And maybe rediscover a better version of ourselves. Maybe it will really mean something. Because it has to. We hope. Well, that new version of ourselves kind of, took a back seat after a while, didn't it? Statewide public health disaster emergency declaration did not end until April 15 of 2022, while nationally, the COVID pandemic officially lasted until the middle of May 2023. Other points of reference during Idaho's COVID period: remember empty football stadiums and basketball arenas, mask mandates in schools and in some cities like Boise, crisis standards of care in hospitals. Yeah, we did all that. But the hangover from COVID continues. Idaho legislature has made several efforts, since and even this session, to enact some sort of revenge on the virus and how we handled it. From trying to take away emergency declaration powers from the governor, to trying to take the same away from local health districts, to banning any sort of mask mandate, to threatening to charge Dr. Anthony Fauci with a crime. Nearly 5,800 Idahoans have died from the coronavirus since March 13, 2020.